Hi, I'm Mark Mazzaferro, and this is another episode of The Works. And with us today is the City of Vacaville's new Public Works Director, Shawn Cunningham. Shawn, thanks for taking some time out of your day.
Thank you, Mark.
It's good for you to be here, and although you're new to the job of Public Works Director, you're certainly not new to the community, are you?
No, I've been here for 26 years, actually, this year in May.
26 years working for the City of Vacaville. And so we're going to, even though you may have seen Shawn out and about, certainly at a Little League game here and there maybe, we're going to find out a little bit more about you than the average resident might know. So let's get started. I mean, I've known you for a long time too, although there was a little bit of a gap in there between our knowing each other and working together, wasn't there?
There was, actually. We go back quite a ways, Mark.
Yeah, to the Caltrans
back
days.
to Caltrans.
Which is where was that your first job as an engineer, or out of tell us real quick?
Caltrans was my first job right out of school. Graduated from Sacramento State University and went to work at Caltrans in San Francisco for about 3 years, and then decided to make the move up here to Vacaville for a short stint, and I've been here for 26 years. So.
Now, for the record, I am not an engineer, but my wife worked at Caltrans, and you guys were on a van pool together, right?
That's right. We actually commuted together for a few years.
And if I remember, I think we went to this place in Crockett. You guys had a van pool dinner there or something. What was the name of that restaurant? The
Nantucket.
Nantucket, that's it.
That was a Friday stop.
Geez, that was a long time ago.
But that's all we're going to say about that.
That's the end
show.
of the Nantucket discussion. Is it even there anymore? I don't know.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Sure.
All right, so Caltrans for 3 years, then you came to Vacaville, and you've said this a couple times. It was just going to be a short stay. So what happened?
Yeah, honestly, I was looking to get out of the commute to the city and do something else, and there was an opening in Vacaville in traffic engineering. And so I interviewed for the job, didn't figure I'd get hired. And Paul Hom actually hired me at that time, and I figured I'd be here for a while until I found something else. And like I say, 26 years later, it's been a great career for the city. So
now, a lot has happened in 26 years in our community. So what was Vacaville like 26 years ago, and what's it like now as you step into this leadership position?
Well, it's funny you asked that. I'll tell you, one of the first things that was set on my desk when I came to Vacaville in 1990 was the Lagoon Valley concept plan for the development of Lagoon Valley. So that part hasn't changed. But I think Vacaville at that time was somewhere around 68,000 people, and none of the development had occurred along the Allison I-80 corridor in that area. And so I got to be part of a lot of the development of Vacaville, bringing it up to the current populations.
So you started out as a traffic engineer, and then take us through a progression to where you are today.
Well, it started out as an assistant engineer in traffic engineering, and I worked in traffic for 10 years. That was a great experience for me. I got to work with a lot of different departments in the city, and after 10 years, I was looking to do something different, and I actually promoted to senior engineer and moved over to the design side in the engineering services division. And I worked there in that capacity for several years, and then promoted to Deputy Director of Public Works, overseeing the Engineering Services Division. So.
And now you're at the top of the heap. You're the man.
That would be my last progression.
There's nowhere to go from there. No, sure, you can become city manager.
No, Laura's doing a great job at city manager.
Oh, okay, good. All right, so we talk about a lot of different things on the works. And generally we talk about projects that have been taking place, but one thing we haven't really dove into is what engineers do and what traffic engineers do, and so give us kind of a thumbnail of what these jobs are like and what they were like for you.
Okay, well, as I just mentioned, there's a variety of different things that we do, whether it be on the traffic engineering side, in which case we're dealing primarily a lot with the public, and the goal there is to try to keep traffic moving efficiently and safely, designing traffic signals, designing striping plans, signing plans. And the day as a traffic engineer varies a lot. When you come in at 8 o'clock, you're not sure what you're going to be doing all day when the phone rings. So that's one aspect of it. Engineering services, we have design engineers that basically manage all of the capital projects, and that's a very intense job. Our project managers basically take a job, whether it's the Allison interchange or it's a new sewer or a new well, and they manage every aspect of that job. If it requires right-of-way, they're responsible for acquiring the right-of-way. They have to work with our community development folks for environmental clearance. They have to get all the permits required from the state, federal permits. If it's a grant, they have to manage the grant. And then as an engineer, they also, the very smallest part of their job, which is what they signed up for, they actually have to design it, write the specifications for it, and then ultimately advertise and award it for construction.
So, and that's just our projects. So if a developer comes in and has a housing project or some sort of business, commercial or retail, you guys are involved in that too, aren't you?
That's right. So that's a more recent development that occurred within the last 6 years. That function actually used to be in community development. About 6 years ago, the city engineer function in development engineering moved into the engineering services realm. So it's just one more hat to wear. But it's been a good transition because the city engineer works very closely with public works maintenance staff as well as traffic engineering.
You guys have your hands in everything, don't you? It's not just fix a street light or repair a pothole. I mean, it's a very complex and all-encompassing job, isn't it?
Public Works is a very diverse department, yes, and probably more so than many cities. We're responsible for everything from transit and solid waste, all the way to, as I mentioned, designing interchanges, and of course, what most people see are maintaining the streets, maintaining our infrastructure. Right. So we have our hands in a lot of different parts of the city.
Park maintenance, everything.
Everything.
I mean, I remember I got this long list. If you turn on your water, that's Public Works. If you flush your toilet, that's Public Works. If you go to the park, and it just goes on and on and on.
Really, everything, most aspects that the folks in our community touch and deal with each day in some way, Public Works is involved.
So knowing that, and knowing that you are now the director of Public Works, you probably don't sleep much at night, do you, Shawn? Just tossing and turning. How am I going to fix this? What can I do?
It's interesting. It's I was fortunate enough to perform in this role for 1 year before the previous director was here, so I have an idea what it's about. But it's a little different now. People ask me, and it's definitely different now that I'm not interim in the role, that I am actually here permanently and responsible, and it is a big responsibility. We have a very capable department of 100 employees, which I'm thankful for, and one of the reasons that I was willing to take the position.
Sure.
But at the same time, I feel very responsible for those 100 employees and making sure that they have what they need to do their job and to make sure that we're going in the direction that we need to go, and then also making sure that the citizens of Vacaville are getting what they're paying for from the Department of Public Works. So yeah, it's a big responsibility.
Well, you mentioned 100 employees, the second largest department in the city, behind the police department, I guess, and equally as important as PD. Well, every department is important in the city, really, because when you get right down to it, and you mentioned this earlier, everybody works together on any number of things, from a small commercial project up to a huge development. We're all at the table trying to make this work, aren't we?
Yes, and I feel very fortunate in Vacaville. We do work closely together. The department heads, I feel, are very cohesive, and each understands the other's mission, and we try to help each other. And I think that transcends down to the folks in each of those departments. So yeah. Yes.
So I mentioned earlier you coach Little League. Are you still coaching?
No, I'm not. My son's in high school now, so So I've washed my hands of that, but I did. I started in T-ball again, just to take the team for one year,
out. Yeah,
just
yeah.
for 1 year, and went all the way up. Actually, my buddy and I coached a travel ball team for about 4 years. It was a very rewarding experience, but I have now handed the keys off to coaches more qualified than I. So.
I don't know, man, but it just shows how involved you are in our community. I think that's cool. And now you're in a position where you have impact on both ends, don't you? Both helping kids and helping our community grow.
I try to, and my son Scott, my daughter Kelly, are very involved in the community as well, and so I've always tried to be involved with them as they're growing up, and it's been rewarding. So Vacaville is a great community.
All right, so as head of the Public Works Department, do you have like a goal in mind or some things you want to see get done over the next 3 or 4 years, or what's your plan?
Well, one of the things, Mark, is that when the recession hit, or the downturn, or whatever we're calling it, like all the departments, the Public Works took a major hit with regard to staffing, and we really are just now coming out of that. And there were a lot of things, a lot of deficiencies with regard to manpower in the department, and right now that's my main goal, is to try to get us back, get the key positions filled, and get people back, both at the management levels as well as at the labor levels, so that we can perform efficiently and do our job. That's my primary goal right now.
It's tough. Many people are aware of what we went through, but a lot of people think it's over, it's all fixed, we're all back to normal, but we're still down about 80 to 85 employees, about 15% from where we were pre-recession. And that takes a while to get back up to speed, at the same time trying to predict, when the next downturn might happen. And it's a real tough balancing act, isn't it?
It is a balancing act, and that's something that I'm cognizant of and always have been. That's the leadership that has historically been Public Works has always been cognizant of that. And so we are careful not to grow too fast, but at the same time, we need to get there. As I said, key positions need to be filled so that we can provide the service that the folks expect.
Anything you want to add before we say goodbye today about what's going on in Public Works, new projects, things coming up?
Well, we've got just in closing, Jepson Parkway. It's a $30 million road project. We received good news recently that the CTC looks like they're going to fund that. We'll be finding out the end of June when they vote, and that will be huge for Vacaville. So that's something that we were working on. That was designed here in-house. Corderos Park, the much anticipated Corderos Park will be out to bid, and we expect to be starting that this summer. Safe Routes to Schools project we're going to be starting, and a couple other small projects. So we're busy and delivering a lot of projects right now.
And helping maintain that quality of life that folks in Vacaville enjoy.
That's what we're trying to do.
Excellent. Shawn, congratulations on the promotion. It's a good choice. I was personally consulted on this. Okay, not really. But if I had been, I'd have given you the highest recommendation.
You'd be interviewing somebody else.
No, incorrect. You would be right there in that chair. And I was, whenever we interview somebody who's been given this new job, we always welcome aboard, right? It's kind of stupid. You've been here 26 years, right? You should be welcoming me, right? But anyway, congratulations again. Thanks for all your hard work and all the time you spent in our community. And thank you for watching this episode of The Works. We'll see you next time.